We got freedom to gain, we feed them the game. Turn on New Freedom Exchange, we freeing your brain. They trying to shackle your mind, no half of us blind. Remember the past, but never go backwards in time. The ancestors lived through us, they help us build a model community. New Africa is soon to be. So tune in to Sister Marsha, Mujahideen, Imam Bilal, to get your cultural enlightenment now.
Welcome back to another edition of New Freedom Exchange, your cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. This is a PMX edition, but assalamu alaikum.
Live and direct. Wa alaikum assalam. We are live here on New Freedom Network, broadcasting, simulcast actually on quite a few platforms, as Mujahideen mentioned. We are live streaming on Prosperity Marketplace Exchange with X. This is our new monthly segment debut, talking and highlighting businesses and business leaders, which will be happening every second Saturday of the month at 7 o'clock Eastern. We have our first guest in the queue waiting for us. So if you are watching, please do share, and please do share and tag. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channels, New Freedom Network, The Exchange, and a lot of those platforms that we're on. Quite a few. The Muslim Journal News, obviously. We are simulcasting to the Muslim Journal's YouTube account. So please do subscribe to their channel as well. Show them some love. And also, do not forget to make sure that you, of course, share and tag and like also our Facebook pages. Dean, how's everything with you?
Everything is good, but I just want to do a quick backdrop of PMX. We actually started PMX almost the same time as New Freedom, a little after New Freedom Exchange, 2020. Of course, everybody knows we was in the middle of the pandemic, early stages of the pandemic. We didn't know how long it was going to go. And then I guess about midway through 2020, we realized, I guess, we wasn't going back to whatever we was doing. And so we started to, look at doing online business. I was already doing some VA work, virtual assistants, and some other stuff, digital stuff. And so we actually started off with the CMOS. CMOS was our first product that we had from my dear brother from Zanzibar, Tariq Ismail. So we started doing CMOS. Of course, we got the world famous bean pie. We was doing that online. And I think a few other things. Then we even connected with Sharif, who's going to get some We Buy Black products. But it's just been on and off throughout the last couple of years. And so this year, 2024, we decided to just focus on it more. We're doing a lot of things in our community, but we don't want to be negligent of our business responsibility. And I'm very looking forward to our guest today, who's not just going to talk about his experience in business, but also, I'm sure, some insight on the global economics and finance. So I'm looking forward to today's discussion.
Excellent. And with that being said, I think we are at a point in a juncture that we don't want to hesitate and bring on our special guest for this discussion tonight. We have the honor and privilege of having our dear beloved brother, Brother Sultan Hassan Bilal, with us this evening. And if we can bring him onto the screen, that would be great. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, my brother. It's good to be on. I thank you. It's my honor and my pleasure to be here to talk to the community tonight and share whatever I can. Inshallah, we'll have a good discussion.
Alhamdulillah, it's great to have you, Brother Sultan. And so we want to a little backdrop. Let's back it up a little bit. Like we do normally with all our guests on the platform, we usually give them a challenge or a mini challenge or however they see it. You have, if someone wants to ask you a question, who is Brother Sultan Hassan Bilal? And you were in the elevator. You have, 30 seconds, 45 seconds to say something. We'll give you a minute. Who is Brother Sultan Hassan Bilal?
Good question. Well, Brother Sultan Hassan Bilal is your humble brother who has been in our community since 1972. And I strive to do the best that I can in everything that I do. And so that's in a nutshell. I like to think of myself as a good, devoted husband and father and grandfather and brother. And so that's who Sultan Hassan Bilal is. When I chose this name many, many years ago, going back to 1975, I chose the name Sultan because it means Islamic king. And I've been trying to live up to that all these many years, 50 years and more, to be honest with you. And so, yeah, that's me. Once again, I try to do the best that I can in everything that I do to help our folks, our people, the upliftment of our people, to give them good, solid information and things that can help our community grow. That's it.
Excellent, excellent. I appreciate you giving us that brief backdrop. Of course, offline, we'll talk about some other things. Bilal and I and our team, Marsha as well, we do have a historical preservation project, and we'd love to unpack it even more because our pioneers, you all who were part of the Nation of Islam, who made the transition, not only are you a new people, but you also laid the foundation for us to be the people that we are, this next generation. So I thank you for sharing that. One thing that came to mind when you mentioned that the definition or your meaning of Sultan Islamic king, since we're talking about business, and I of course we hope to hear some of your business history as well, but just real briefly, you hear this expression, king, is it cash is king? So talk to us about like, what is money? I know you're in finance, but what is money? What is currency?
Well, money, currency is a medium of exchange where you exchange a service or a good for the money or the cash that will then in turn you can utilize to strengthen your position and circulate. The most important thing is to circulate those funds, that money, within our own community so that we can build it up and make it strong. This is a problem that we've had for many, many, many years, and we still have that problem, and we need to correct that. So it's a medium of exchange. Years ago, before we had dollar bills and that type of exchange, barter was the system. I have something that you like or something that you need, and you would come to me and offer me something that you have that I like or that I need, and we would exchange. After many, many years, the currency took the place of that. I guess it started with gold, going back to the days of the great Islamic king Mansa Musa, who had gold to spare and to spend. And as I'm sure you know the story, one of my favorite stories is how he made the Hajj from Mali to Mecca, and on the way spread gold throughout all of his travels, got to Egypt, and actually almost ruined the economy of Egypt because he had so much gold, and he decided to spend it and give it out freely for service to folks, and it devalued the value of the gold at that time, which was not his intent. But yeah, so that's what cash is. That's what money is. It does not rule everything around you. Allah rules everything that's around you. And but what we need, money, I've heard it said many years ago, is the lifeblood of business. You have to have money flowing so that you can keep business going. So there is nothing wrong with making money if you use it properly and you use it to improve your community. And we offer the goods and services in exchange for money, in exchange for cash. And that's how we can make our community economically strong.
So it's not the root of all evil.
Well, I mean, people have to have a strong moral code when they're dealing with money. If they don't have a strong moral code, then it can be evil. I'm not going to say it's the root of all evil, but it can be evil if you don't have a strong moral code and practice a halal lifestyle, meaning that you're not going to just do anything for money. You're not going to sacrifice your brother and your sister and your moral character just to get money. This is not what we do. Those that have fallen into that trap, it definitely is an evil. And so there are many people across the world in many periods of time that have fallen victim to that. However, there are others that have not. And so we choose to be of those others that have not. But we definitely need money. There's nothing wrong with money. We need to make money so that we can make our community grow and prosper.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. So we'd like to, now we're joined with our other co-host, Sister Marsha. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. So good to be with you all today. I am still traveling home back from the event that was held today at Marsha and Bro. And so I just want to say it's good to be with you all. So I'm sort of just jumping into the conversation. So I'm going to lay back and listen a little more. I heard that reference to money and the root of all evil, and the scripture actually is the love of money. So that speaks to what the brother was saying. Like if you have that unhealthy fixation or the love, right, quote unquote love, that's the piece that can get you in trouble. But we absolutely need money. And I'm looking forward to having this conversation about how we could be more resourceful with money, to get more comfortable with money, right? Because some of us have this very strange relationship with money, right? As people of faith, we've been conditioned to this sort of pauper lifestyle, right? So spirituality gets connected to you don't have much because you're living at the bare bones. But the reality is that those resources are going to help you to be a more resourceful, a more Khalifa in the land, right? If the righteous and moral mindset is in charge of divvying out the resources and being responsible for the resources, then inshallah you come out with a better outcome. So that's my spiel, but I'm gonna sit back and listen to the rest because the brother knows way more than me.
Assalamu alaikum, my sister.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Imam Sultan, if we also so we got a little bit of that. Let's work it up a little bit in the chronological order of some sort here. The field of business you got into, or the interest of business you got into, can you explain to us why did you get into finance? How did that start? Why? Can you give us a little bit of background into that piece?
Sure. It was quite by happenstance. So we go all the way back to about 1973, 74. And I mentioned to you, I joined the Nation of Islam in 1972. And those years of 73 and 74, I believe, I was very much involved in what we called the Fish Force, which I'm sure you have heard stories. I hope you have heard stories about that history. That's when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had imported fish from Peru, whiting H&G. What's not talked about so much is that we also had red snapper and a couple of other fish. So in any event, the FOI at that time, most of us, and I was a very young man at that time, and we volunteered to sell this product, this fish, full time. And so that's what we did. And we didn't make much money. In fact, some of us didn't make any money. But the training and the fellowship, the brotherhood that we got was just tremendous. It was tremendous. And even before that, I had always been entrepreneurial in my spirit. I remember, in fact, I mentioned this at the Time to Be Grateful conference. When I was about 8 or 9 years old, I used to sell what they called color tone Christmas cards, which was Christmas cards for Black folks. And there were no other cards like that to my knowledge at the time. And I used to sell it to my neighbors at the time. I lived in the Bronx. And so from there, I again joined the Nation of Islam, and we heard, and it was ingrained in us to do for self and to have our own businesses, and that we need to provide all of our needs and our services. And that stuck with me. It has stuck with me forever throughout my lifetime. So coming out of the Fish Force experience, most of us needed a job or needed to do something to make some money. So there are a couple of brothers about 1975, 76 that I knew that were in the insurance business. And so they introduced me to that and said, okay, this is a good way for you to be an entrepreneur, because you can go out and you make as much money as you want, and you can offer people a product that we all need, which is life insurance. And so I said, okay, let me try that. And so I did try that, and I liked it, and I excelled in it. And I have been in that business ever since. Now, the business has grown. The model has grown tremendously from just the life insurance business to now full-fledged financial planning, which is something that all of our folks need, which involves not only the life insurance, which is a foundational product and tool, but investing. We need to learn more about investing. When I started in this business, there's just a couple of hundred mutual funds, and you needed about $10,000 or more to get involved in a mutual fund. And now, now the environment, there are thousands of mutual funds. And you can start a mutual fund these days with $500, sometimes less. Usually it's between $500 and $1,000. And so what we need to know as a community is how to make our money grow. We are, and I'm sure all of you have heard before, we are masters at consuming. We are great consumers. Anybody that has anything to sell will come to the Black community, advertise in the Black community, because they know that we will buy it. We are attracted to it, and the more expensive and the more elaborate and the more attractive it is, the more we want to buy it. And so we have to change that. We've been trying to change that for the last forever, 50, 60 years, 20, 30 years. There's examples of folks that have been trying to do this, and we're making progress. We are making progress, but as we know, one of the attributes of Allah is patience. So we have to have the patience because it's not an overnight thing. So yes, that's how I started in the business, and it has grown again to a full-fledged financial planning firm through the 80s. We did business management and financial planning, and we were blessed to have many of the top folks in the entertainment industry at the time as clients. That was mainly because of a partner that I had that was very active in the entertainment industry, and became a business manager for all of the top names back then. And it evolved once again to wealth management, which is the term of the day, wealth management. So yeah, I stuck with the business. The brothers that introduced me to the business did not stay with it, but I did stay with it, and it has grown. And we have what we have today, which is the Bilal Group. And so we have clients that are all over the country. We have clients that are out of the country. And I like to think that we have done a tremendous job, thank Allah. And we are continuing to grow and to go. So we can't stop now, as the Imam Muhammad said.
I think that I appreciate you for sharing your story because it's inspiring. And one of the things that you shared was the fact that you had always sort of had that foundational entrepreneurial spirit, right? And I feel like there are many people in our community who do also have that spirit, but sometimes there's this disconnect with the either the know-how or the desire to structure our businesses properly, right? To have the right foundation as it pertains to registering our businesses, filing the appropriate tax taxes, all of that stuff. And so can you speak a little bit to the importance of structuring our businesses properly? Because I feel like there's a lot of people out there, particularly in our community, who have quote unquote businesses, but they may not necessarily be structured appropriately.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is not something that we have been taught over the years. You know, entrepreneurship and financial literacy is just now becoming, popular in the lexicon of our community. We have been under the perception, okay, you want to start a business, go out, get something, you sell it to the community, and now you're in business. And so you are absolutely right. If you're going to have your business scale, which is, again, a term that is used much these days, meaning grow, if you're going to grow properly and you're going to grow to a level where you're just not operating in your block, but now you are operating throughout the city and throughout the state and throughout the country and throughout the world, you have to be structured correctly. And so there are many steps to that. You know, you need to know, or, you know, one thing is you don't need to know everything, but you need to have people around you that know what is important in that particular area that you need to excel in. So for instance, if you are a sole proprietor and you want to become incorporated, you want to have a limited liability corporation or a full-scale corporate situation, you need to have the lawyers and the accountants that you can bring in to help you do that. The most successful business people that I've seen over the years are folks that do that. They don't know everything. And anybody that pretends that they know everything is just that, a pretender. You have to surround yourself with people who know how to get a particular thing done. So if you're going to structure your business so that you're not operating, as a mom and pop kind of situation, and you're only dealing with cash, which is going to hurt you in the long run. Because if you don't pay any taxes and you don't have any kind of structure, you're not going to be able to grow, but so large. So you need to have a proper accountant. You need to have a proper lawyer, and then you need to have a proper financial planner. Those of you who are sports fans, you know that the leader of a team, of a football team, is a quarterback. The leader of a basketball team, in most cases, is the point guard. The financial planner and the wealth manager is the quarterback or the point guard of your team. And we can now bring in the lawyers. We can now bring in the accountants. We can now bring in the folks that can help you to have the proper structure for your business. And now it's up to you to make your business viable and have a product or a service that you can offer to the public, and then publicize it the best that you can. Get the word out. Communication is very important. You have to be able to communicate what you are offering the public and why they should have it and why they need it. And so you're absolutely right. We need to have these type of services. And that's what we do in financial planning. Again, we don't know everything, but we have people who specialize in certain areas, whether it be for investment, whether it be for protection, estate planning, accounting. We are the quarterbacks, and we bring in all of those folks to help you grow. Hope that answers.
Excellent. No, alhamdulillah. I mean, that was great. Excellent. Excellent. I'd just like to also ask another question in reference to when you talk about investment, generational wealth building, and wealth building being what they call now the hot topics, the popular topics being talked about now in the African American Black community. Can you talk about how important is the concept of generational wealth, and break that a little bit down for us, because I feel as though it's being talked about a lot, but it's not as granular. People are not making it as granular as it should be to the common person, and there's ways that I know a lot of different ways for us to build generational wealth. But if you could make that a little more granular for those who are listening, in terms of, especially for the Muslims, how can we build generational wealth?
Well, okay. Generational wealth, to answer that question, what is it? Mm-hmm. It's passing on and growing wealth from generation to generation. And so now, you'll hear statistics that will say, one of the popular sayings you hear these days is the generational wealth gap, and how we as African Americans are so much behind everybody else in terms of the generational wealth gap. And I forget the year, but I think it's projected that 1953 or something to that effect, that we will have no net wealth in the African American community, which is totally ridiculous. A lot of times, as we know, a lot of things that are made public and that are put out as fact is not so much fact, but what it is to demoralize our mentality and have us believe that we cannot accomplish what we would like to accomplish, and that we're so far behind that we will never catch up. So in my mind, and I think in reality, that's all false. That's all false. We can overcome these situations of this generational wealth gap. In fact, I've said many times before, going back to my roots in this particular business, if every healthy-bodied person, African-American person that could do it, would have $1 million worth of life insurance, which is the perfect tool for creating generational wealth. Because what happens is with life insurance, as I'm sure you all know, when you pass away, and we're all going to pass away, these dollars go tax-free to your beneficiaries, which 9 times out of 10 is your children or your spouse or some other family member. So now you're creating generational wealth. Over and above that, you have businesses that have been created and are created. And a lot of time, I really love and respect, my younger brothers and sisters, but sometimes they have a tendency to think that a lot of stuff started with them. It didn't. We have great businessmen and great businesswomen that go way back, way back, and have built some great businesses. And the generational wealth piece was not taken care of and was not adhered to, or it was destroyed. Case in point, Black Wall Street, the Tulsa Massacre. This was a thriving Black community of businesses, businessmen and businesswomen, and the folks destroyed it, as you know. So you have to be very careful, and you have to pay attention to planning. Again, this comes into financial planning for future generations. Again, I mentioned this at the Time to Be Grateful convention. There's a great book written by a brother named Eugene Mitchell. And he has a quote in the book that I love. And it says that wealthy people plan for 3 generations, and poor people plan for Saturday night. And I think that says it in a nutshell. If you're constantly just thinking about today and what you can do today and how much money you can make today and how much you can spend today, then your future generations will not have anything. They will not have what we need to have going forward to make sure that our generations will thrive. And we certainly have the brain power. We certainly have the ideas, just like everybody else that has been successful in this country. We have those same assets. And a lot of times we have better ideas and better assets in terms of our brain power and our ideas. So again, that's part of the financial planning process to make sure that people are aware of it. So yeah, nowadays you hear a lot about financial literacy. I all praise is due to Allah. My son has done a great job in promoting that with his Earn Your Leisure media empire. They don't like me to call it a podcast. They think big, they scale. So they got a media empire of Earn Your Leisure, and it has given financial literacy and entrepreneurship a window and a viewership of many people, more people than have seen these type of things in the past. And they're not the only ones. There are other folks that have done the same thing. The brother Boyce Watkins, I believe that's his name. He has a financial literacy environment and media that he puts out, and there's others. So it's widespread. And now you find over these last few years, the school systems are talking about teaching financial literacy in the schools, which they should have been doing all the time, and also entrepreneurship. So now, as we used to say back in the day, it's a wide open field for the wide open man and woman. So let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. That's how I was going to say as we come to a close. How do we bring it back home to get our community activated so we can build these model communities?
How do we do it? Is that your question, brother? How
yes,
do we
sir.
do it? Well, once again, be informed with these different outlets that I've mentioned to you. Be informed, inform yourself, reach out to those who are in the field. Financial planner, you can reach out to us, or you can reach out to, if you have other folks that you know that do what we do in terms of financial planning and wealth management. Seek that information out. It's there. It's there. Seek it out. Seek out those who have that expertise and tap into their expertise and make it work for you. Financial planning is an individual thing because everybody's situation is different. They may be similar, but in most cases it is different. So it's not a one shoe fits all type of scenario. So I would urge you to reach out to your financial planner network, those of you who have one, or ask around and see how you could maximize what you're trying to do in terms of your financial life and make it grow so that we can make some real progress in this area.
Alhamdulillah. So we have just a follow-up question. Brother Fareed, our good brother Fareed out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, one of our day one New Freedom Exchange supporters, ask just for the name of the book that you just quoted.
I wanted to say it, but I don't want to butcher it up.
Okay.
I don't. It's seven principles or something to that effect. But the author is Eugene Mitchell. So if you go online, Google Eugene Mitchell, you'll find the book that I'm referring to. It's an excellent book. It's a very good book. Eugene Mitchell is the author.
Excellent. Sister Marsha, you wanted to say something?
Yes. Before we come to a close, I wanted to circle back to financial planning, and the brother just brought it back up again. So, we were talking about entrepreneurship and just getting our financial houses in order in general. And so I was curious to know what are maybe three. It doesn't have to be three, but some key components of our financial lives that we need to be looking at to set a good foundation, either for business or just for, thriving financially.
Well, I'm sure you have probably seen the term assets over liabilities. I'm sure you've seen that. So keep your liabilities low, keep your debt low, live below your means, invest in yourself. That's one of the biggest things that I would say. When we get into the world of investing, people want to know, well, what stock should I buy? What's the best mutual fund to go into, that type of thing. Excuse me, which is important. But I would say first and foremost, invest in yourself and invest in your community. So what do I mean by that? Get all of the financial knowledge that you can get, or whatever business you're in, become expert in that as much as you can. Become expert in your particular field or your particular business. Know as much as you can, learn as much as you can about your particular business. That's investing in yourself. And then on top of that, invest in each other. Because if we have the entrepreneurial community, which we do have, we need to spend our dollars with each other because it will circulate throughout our community. This is nothing new. We know this. We've heard it many, many times. but it still becomes a problem. You know, I will go out of my way to do business with an African American before I do business with anyone else. If I can't find an African American brother or sister that offers a particular product, then I will have to go to someone else. But I remember there was a questionnaire that came out back a while ago about, you know, what Black folks do you do business with? And I said, okay, let me see. My doctor is Black. My dentist is Black. My lawyer is Black. My accountant is Black. And just about everybody down the line. What I can't say, what I couldn't say at the time, is that my grocery store is owned by Black folks, you know, that my pharmacy is owned by Black folks. You know, I mentioned at the Time to Be Grateful convention, once again, you know, we as Black folks, we love to give parties. We have all kinds of conventions and all kinds of get-togethers, whether you're talking about our community or you're talking about the fraternities and the sororities and the business groups. Every month or every week, there's something going on. How many of the places that we have these events at are owned by African Americans? We were sitting in the Hilton Hotel back earlier in December. You know, the hotel business to a large degree is a franchise business. You know, have we thought about franchising and getting ownership or a franchise in one of these major hotels? This is how we need to think. We need to think big. We need to think global. And so to answer your question, sister, I would say you want to keep your debt low. The money that you make, pay yourself first. You know, no matter what it is that you make, pay yourself first. Used to say, you know, save or invest 10% of the income that you have. I like to think that you should be able to do more than that. It's a sacrifice. It's definitely a sacrifice. Save 20 to 25% or more. Invest, because that money will come back to you. You're putting your money to work. You know, when we go out, I always tell young people all the time, you know, you go out and buy these sneakers from Nike and you're paying $150, $200, $250. Why don't you take some of that money and buy a Nike stock? Nike stock right now is about $150 or something around that particular lines, or that amount rather. So, you know, you invest, save your money, invest, keep your debt low, live below your means. And we need to stop trying to impress folks with all of the things that we buy, because we buy a lot of stuff. You know, Black folks have a lot of money, contrary to what we hear. You know, we're not poor. We just are not wise with the money that we have. So pay yourself first, keep your debt low, and try to circulate the money within the community. That's 3 that I think would help us tremendously.
Excellent. And then I think I have one more question to squeeze in, just one more, just briefly, Brother Sultan. If you could, you know, you mentioned your son, and could you talk a little bit about the importance of passing down knowledge to your children? Because a lot of times there's also that problem too, or issue where knowledge doesn't get transferred to the children, you know, and there's a gap between the parent generation and that second generation of the child. So can you talk just a little bit just about the importance of passing down knowledge, especially, you know, in the area of which you're in, finance?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's generational wealth. That's building generational wealth. It's not always just about money. It's about the knowledge and the time that you spend with your children, and whatever it is that you do. If you feel that you would like your children to excel in that, or whatever it is, put the time and the energy into your children to teach them what it is that you're doing. If you want them to continue your particular business endeavor, or if they have something else that they feel that they would like to do, spend time so that they can learn how to be expert in that particular field. You know, I remember taking my son Rashad to the New York Stock Exchange when he was about 8 years old. You know, and when he was about 9 years old, he said, somebody asked him, "What do you want to do?" He said, "Oh, I want to be a corporate takeover artist." And they looked at him like, "What? What did this 9-year-old boy say?" You know, but this was the environment that he came up in, where he, since I was in the financial industry, he was around, heard these terms, and learned and picked it up. And a lot of things he learned, I didn't even know he was learning. In fact, I'm amazed now to hear some of the things that I hear from him. And I say, wow, this, the seeds were planted. That's all you can do is plant the seeds, and then pray to Allah that it will grow and flourish and come to fruition. But you do have to you get out of it what you put into it. So if you put knowledge and time and energy and wisdom, hopefully, into your children, then you will see it come to fruition at some point in time, some later than others. But the best that you can do is to definitely teach your children as much as you can about everything that you can. That's your job as a parent. That's building generational wealth on a knowledge level and on a wisdom level and on a spiritual level. Teach them, and inshallah, they will grow into fine young men and women that will contribute to the society. I think that's all that we can ask for.
Alhamdulillah, excellent. We thank you so much, Brother Sultan, for your time this evening, coming forth to be our first guest on our debut segment here on second Saturdays, PMX Business Roundtable. You heard it, brothers and sisters, Brother Sultan Hassan Bilal of the Bilal Group, finance and wealth building, generational wealth building expert here. We appreciate his level of expertise. Where can the viewers contact you, Brother Bilal? So we can put that in the chat.
They can give me a call, 914-830-5933, or they can reach out to me via email at sbilal1950@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I thank you. I thank you for inviting me to come out to take part in this forum. And I am so proud of you young brothers and sisters, because all of you are younger than me. So I'm very proud of the work that you're doing. And I will say that I hope that you continue to do this, and may Allah continue to bless us.
I mean, before we go, we just have one more announcement. And if we have any announcements, please do share. But speaking of business, Sister Basima, from the NNBC, the National Muslim Business Conference, just sent me this flyer. So it is to save the date for the NNBC Global Summit that will be happening in Raleigh, North Carolina in May the 3rd to the 5th. So we have business seminars, business resources, and a trade show. So save the date, May the 3rd to the 5th, and you could visit the website at www.nnbcglobal.org for more information. But do save the date for this conference. Business, if you're into business and serious about business, this is another place, another opportunity to be around like-minded individuals and like-minded people, inshallah. Is there any other announcement before we sign off, or any last comment and reflection, Brother Deen, Sister Marsha?
Yeah, we got the pie raiser coming soon. It's not really finished yet, but look out for that. This is one of our products that we produce, and so we're going to use it for a develop education fund to sponsor people who want to expand in Islamic knowledge. Myself, Sister Marsha, Imam Bilal, we got accepted in ILTDP, the Islamic Leadership Training and Development Program. We've secured our spot, but we want to build up with our product a fund to support those who may be ready for the next cohort. And so throughout these shows highlighting business, we're going to promote business individuals, businesses, and products, inshallah.
Inshallah. And with that being said, Marsha, you have anything you wanted to say before we close?
Just wanted to thank Brother Hassan Bilal for coming on, for sharing his knowledge. There is so much for us to learn as it relates to finance. There's so much room for us to grow. There are resources out here, and I want to make sure that our viewers and our listeners know about them, particularly in our community, but just in general, right? We are supposed to operate in excellence, right? And if that's the case, then we need to strive to do all the things that we're doing in excellence. And what the brother shared today is an example of how we can do that as it relates to our financial lives. We just have to make the intention and connect with people like him, and we'll be on our way to success. So thanks again.
Alhamdulillah. And don't forget, the Boys to Men Good Deeds presents the Itikaf. So this for boys and women as well. So the boys and men Itikaf in memory of the late Imam Hassan Sharif will be at Masjid Muhammad Newark, ages 8 and up. That will be happening January 19th at the start of Maghrib, and will be coming out after Fajr on January 20th. So look out for this. Bring your young men. And men, please do come. Bring your sons, bring your nephews, grandsons, etc. For a night of reflection, unity, fun, and remembrance. And the same thing goes for the sisters, for girls to women, Itikaf. The next day, they come in January 20th at Maghrib and leave at Fajr on January the 21st, inshallah. So that is it for us. And until next time, same place, same channel, same dial. Next Saturday, we will have Howard MSA back on to continue the promo show for the Hijab Fest that's coming up in 2024 of February the 17th. They'll be back, and we'll meet some of the organizers, the current organizers of that event, as well as have our dear beloved sister Nazinga Knight, who is a visual artist who has a art residency in Queens at the Queens Museum, to talk a little bit more about her projects and how we can just community support her, inshallah. So with that being said, we hope everyone has a great rest of your night and a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Charles Sharif right here with We Buy Black. Look, it looks like we don't hit 1 million followers. That's 1 million people that could take action today. What do I mean by that? There's no point of having 1 million followers if we're not going to make a commitment to make change ourselves. We have many different black-owned businesses out there that we all need to galvanize behind, get behind, to support. So what is the call to action? I'm asking everybody that follow us to find a black-owned business today to support, to get behind. If 1 million of us purchase laundry detergent from the black-owned laundry detergent company, and we all spend $15, that's $15 million this month just for black-owned for laundry detergent. And if we make a commitment to spend that every month, because we always got to wash our clothes, then that's the money that we can pour back into our community. That's how we're going to make sure that the children in our neighborhoods have a job. That's how we're going to make sure that the schools that we love and that we support are going to be financed and supported by us. And that's just for laundry detergent. What about our toothpaste? What about our deodorant that we've been pushing you all to support throughout the years? We want to get behind all of these different products in our community, because that's where it's going to start. Now, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of you all seen us in Walmart. You've seen us going aisle by aisle, picking out product. Do we have trash bags? Do we have aluminum foil? Do we have toilet tissue? These products are now being produced in our community, but there's so much more work that needs to be done. Every single item that they have in Walmart, that you see on Amazon, wherever you go, we should be producing those items. We should have those items created by us, so that whenever we decide that we need to go to Walmart, then we'll be able to say, you know what, no matter what it is I need, 90 to 100% of the items are going to come from my community. It's not enough for us to have a black-owned grocery store where that the owner is black, but all the product inside the store is going to a different community. We need to have the store being built by African. The light bulbs inside of the store need to be from an African-American community. We need the floors to be produced by us. The concrete to be laid by us. Every single thing should be produced by us. We are not biologically deficient. It's just that our environment has caused us to think that we are not together to separate us. So we need to pull our resources together, strengthen our families, which will ultimately strengthen our communities, which will strengthen our whole society. So that's it. Right now, black people as a community, we have the highest rates of poverty, the highest rates of joblessness, the highest rates of crime, imprisonment, on and on and on. But as businesses, black businesses, we hire our people more than anybody else. We hire more African Americans than any other entity. So the more successful our businesses are, then the more we'll hire our people. And the more of our people that are hired, then the lower our joblessness rate will be, the lower our poverty rate will be, the lower our homelessness rate will be, the lower our crime rate will be, and then ultimately the imprisonment rate. So we can fix our issues from the inside out. But it first starts with us. So the call to action today is for all the million people who follow us, because like I said, it don't matter if it's a million people. Hell, we could have 10 people, but if 10 people can commit to make change, then that's where it's at. But because we have a reach of 1 million people, we asking everybody to follow us, to listen to us, get behind what we're talking about, because the change in reparations is going to start with us. There's no point of having reparations coming from the government, coming from anybody, tens of trillions of dollars, if we're going to take that money and pour it right back into somebody else's community. If our dollar leaves our community in 6 hours, what the hell good would tens of trillions of dollars do? It'd be gone in 6 hours. So the joke would be played on us. But the moment that we control all of our resources, the moment that everything that we need is coming from our community, and then we receive $10 trillion, matter of fact, we may even have a discussion whether or not it's even necessary at that point, because we circulate over $1 trillion outside of our community each year. Now imagine all of that coming back to us, and that's our reparations. Our reparations is us repairing ourselves. So the call to action, our people, continue to follow us, continue to support us. We don't want just a grocery store. We want to have the grocery store, and we want to have the products that stock our shelves to be from us too. Peace.
Don't work against us becoming Muslims if that's our choice. America is land of the free and home of the brave. And damn it, I'm brave and I'm free. And you can't take it away from me. I'm going to have freedom of choice. I choose Islam. I choose Quran. I choose Muhammad. I choose this religion for myself. And as long as my children are under my supervision and not of age to make their own decision, I am choosing Islam for all of my children. As long as my wife will like me, will love me, and she doesn't have to love me, as long as she respects me. I choose Islam for my wife. And that's my responsibility. And I hope you all feel the same way. Thank God we are free at last. We are free at last. You're not free when you're just free from physical bondage. You're not free until your mind is free. And your human spirit is free. Your human spirit will take you where God wants you to go. And if you got that human spirit that will follow what God wants, your mind will be blessed by God to know how to get your body there. To get your body there. We're tired of being spooks in America or anywhere else. We are no spooks. We have a human body like everybody else. Don't tell me to accept God, immigrant Muslim from Pakistan and from Egypt and other places. Don't come over here and give me a life of Muslim ritualism. I had enough ritualism. I feel the genes in of my foreparents. They are in me. And I have a distaste for too much ritualism. I want reality. I want reality, and I want a place in this world. I want to obey God, and I want to get my share of this material world. Don't give me a spirit and tell me I can't have a body. God didn't give me a spirit and tell me I can't have a body. God gave me a spirit, and he gave me a material body to house my spirit. Now give me a material environment to house my mind and my spirit that is African American. We want to see New Africa. We want to see New Africa Islamic theaters. We want to see skyscrapers go up, and we build them. We want to see shipping lines and trucking lines and transportation lines all over in our neighborhood. We want to walk outside our house, and we want to look at the products and the construction and the industry of our own people Muslim African Americans in New Africa, on these shores. On these shores. That's our rightful inheritance as the creation of God. God has created us for this. That's our natural inheritance. And we will accept nothing less. Nothing less. They have Spanish Town. They have Chinatown. Damn it, get ready for African American Town, Muslim New Africa. And I won't say it. I know you've been waiting for it. You've been waiting for me to say it. We cannot be stopped now.
Legacy, legacy, brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, legacy, Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, legacy, our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, legacy, Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, legacy, visit muslimjournal.net online. Legacy, legacy, text sponsor the 999. Legacy, legacy, 999. Legacy, legacy, muslimjournal.net online. Legacy, legacy, brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, legacy, Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, legacy, our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, legacy, Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, legacy, visit muslimjournal.net online. Legacy, legacy, text sponsor the 999. Legacy, legacy, 999. Legacy, legacy, muslimjournal.net online.